Hello again, welcome back to Asgard, and welcome back to Vintage Story. So since the last episode, I've done a little bit of work, basically just chopping wood and stuff. One thing we are going to do, we're going to start off, because today we're going to be getting into clay and stuff. Also, since we're going to be doing clay, we might as well get into a little bit of charcoal as well. Let's go ahead. We're just going to make as much wood as we possibly can. Also, while we're at it, let's grab some soil. And I'm going to need our fire starter also. This is still kind of cooking away, cooking some meat. I actually just killed a bear. It was sleeping right there. And in my cave area. So I just bashed him over the head a couple times. It was a big polar bear. And I did raise our ladder. Yobor Brasbar brought up in the comments that drifters, they'd be able to jump. I actually went there a few nights and they kind of got stuck right in here and right over here. And, oh, that was my old shovel and my old club. I'm just going to toss them. Throw them out there. I went there a few nights without any issues, but just to be on the safe side, I went ahead and raised that. But let's go ahead and pop out over here. And we're going to start off by going ahead and getting some charcoal burning. I should have brought my clay with me. That's okay. I'll just grab some more. It's not going to hurt anything because it's right over here. You can't really have too much clay. We're going to be using a lot of it. But I'd like to go ahead and start making our way towards working with metals a little bit. Of course, there's a lot of things that we could do at this stage of the game. But getting into metals, that's going to move us, getting into clay, and then in turn getting into metals, that's going to help us start moving towards the saw. We got 1 day, weather permitting. Okay. But it's going to start helping us towards moving towards the saw. And the nice thing about the saw is we're going to be able to start building once we get the saw. Let's go ahead and we'll just open this up a little bit. And I'm thinking 2x2 will probably be good. But what we need to do is we need to pile up basically 4 high on firewood. And this is going to give us a lot of coal. Well, a fair amount of coal. We can actually, I think, go just a little bit more on it, though. Because I think we're just going to turn all this firewood into charcoal. Charcoal's not going to be super important for us right this very second, but it is going to be extremely useful to us here pretty soon, because in order for us to smelt metals, all the combustible stuff within Vintage Story has certain maximum temperatures that it can burn to. Like, for example, firewood is only 700 degrees Celsius. However, charcoal is going to be a little bit higher than that, so we are going to push into a little bit of charcoal. Alright, so we've got that in place. Then we're just going to cover up most of this with dirt. And then we're going to take some grass, and we're basically just going to build a fire pit right here. Boom, like that. And then let's go ahead and light this. There we go, it started up. And then we're going to just cover that over. And you're going to see a little bit of smoke coming out of this. That's a good sign. And basically we're just going to leave this for a little while and let this cook down. Because it's going to cook all that firewood then into charcoal. And we're going to be doing kind of the same thing with clay here in just a moment as well. But let's go ahead and take some of our clay, and we're going to or not nap, but do some clay work and make us a few things here. Let's see, let's go with a crucible. You can either do a single or you can do 4 times. It's going to be basically 4 times the material. We're going to go ahead and do 4 times on the crucible. Now, when it comes to working with clay, you can left click, just like when you're napping, and just kind of cut that away. And you need to do that with the yellow squares. However, unlike napping, you're also going to have these green squares, and these you're going to right click to place down blocks and kind of fill these in. Now, there's a couple tools, like if we hit, or a couple settings, if we hit F, we can change this, say, to like a 2x2. And that way we can kind of fill in a larger area here at a time. And if you're doing just one crucible, it's going to be basically just one of these squares. But since we're doing 4 at once, it's going to be a little bit more. But when it comes to your crucibles and stuff, you'll probably want more than one. So you might as well just go ahead and start things off by making a few of these. Okay, now at this point we need to basically bring this up another level. And so we're going to use the duplicate layer. And just kind of click through this. Boom. There we go. And right here, we're going to duplicate layer again. And just kind of click through that. And then we're going to duplicate layer again. And then we have to put a top on it. And there we go. We got ourselves 4 raw crucibles. Now at this point, let me pop over. Let me get, because I've got sticks on me, I've got grass on me, but I'm going to need more firewood than what I've got. So I want to go ahead and pick up just a little bit more. And then if we've got time today, we might go ahead and start setting up where one of our first builds are going to be. Because I'm trying to push quickly over to where we can kind of start building and making ourselves a home, because we don't want to have to live out of a cave for too long if we can avoid it. So basically the 2 big things you need, in my opinion at least, to start building are pickaxe and a saw. And then you can go. Of course, having a chisel and stuff like that's really nice too, but just to start putting in buildings, we need a saw, we need a pickaxe. Plus, I'd really like to get a food storage area up and going pretty quickly as well. Now this stuff, the charcoal and the clay, it's not going to be done until like tomorrow probably, but that's okay. But we're going to go ahead and dig ourselves a few pit kilns right in here, and we're going to go ahead and just place in our crucibles. We're going to go ahead and put in our grass, and then we need some sticks. We'll just toss those in, and then we're going to need some firewood. You can also use charcoal and stuff. Charcoal is going to be a little bit faster, but we're not worried about that. And then we're just going to take our fire starter and go ahead and ignite this and get this going. And this, like I said, this is going to take a little bit. Now this, you don't necessarily have to cover this. However, I am going to put a block over it. And that's just in case it rains. I don't want... we might have a little bit of forest fire here. Or a grass fire. And we're just going to let that smolder for a bit. Now, let's go ahead. Let's do a little bit more clay forming. I'd also like to get... probably a cooking pot or some of our molds. Well, I'll tell you what, let's go ahead and do a few of our molds for starters. Oops. We're going to go ahead and do the pickaxe mold. 3x3 setting is great here, as you can tell. There we go. There is our pickaxe mold. Let's go ahead and just right click that, take that. We're going to put that in, say right there. Yeah, we're still good on time. Let's go ahead, we'll start those about the same time. Let's see, we got pickaxe. Let's go ahead and get, then let's see, I think we'll probably just go with the pickaxe for now, as far as our molds go. Watering can could be good too, but let's go ahead and do cooking pots also. And we're going to be going with 4 times on these. Now this is something you may not need 4 of them at the start. I like having 4 because, of course, you can have multiple things cooking at once. And, whoops, Didn't mean to do that. That's okay. And being able to cook multiple things and kind of have it as storage of multiple things, because we'll be able to store our food in there kind of temporarily until we're ready for it, because we're going to be using bowls to eat our food. But I find that generally having 4 is well worth it. So one thing about vintage stories, you can generally never have too many of things. Like, you know, down the road we'll be making lots of picks at a time, and it'll never be enough. And we'll have lots of molds set up, it'll never be enough. Also, ingot mold is pretty good to have too, but I think we can wait on that for right now. But I'd like to start getting into kind of cooking soups, because it's going to make our food go a lot further, and we can make use of all these mushrooms that we've got lying around in this area. And I'll probably have to gather a little bit more grass, but that's fine. There we go. And then while we're at it, let's go ahead and make ourselves some bowls. Another thing that you can do, like for example, bowls are a great one for this, is just go ahead and copy your layer. And then what we'll do is we'll just grab this and just pull out the middles. And there we go. So it does help for certain patterns it can help with. So, and we'll go ahead and throw those in there, and then we're going to have to get some more grass. And we're going to cover the top of this one as well, just to make sure that that rain doesn't come in. It's not that important for like our charcoal creation because it's already covered, but this does have the exposed fire, so we do want to make sure that that is kind of covered just to be on the safe side. I don't think we got time to do another clay mold, but that's fine. We got the most important ones done. There's a few others that I would like to get, but they can wait for right now. Like I said, we're going to want a bunch of molds and stuff. We'll flower in less than a day. Wonderful. Okay, I'm going to head back. We'll probably throw together like a mold or something before we sleep for the night, but I also want to see if our meat got done. It did. Perfect. I am probably going to have to get some food, though, tomorrow, which is fine. Alright. So, while we've got a little bit of time here, let's go ahead. Let's do some ingot molds. And honestly, for this one, I'm probably just going to duplicate layer. And then clear out the middle, I think. There we go. And then we'll just duplicate the rest of the way. And there we go. There is our ingot molds. Now, we'll end up wanting some more of those, but let's go ahead. I don't know if I've got enough clay on me to go ahead and do the anvil. It's going to be useful to us, but we'll probably wait on that. Let's go ahead, though, and maybe get a long blade mold real quick. And there we go. There's that. And then I don't know that we've got enough clay to do anything else, but let's go ahead and try for an axe mold. Don't have enough for that. That's fine. We'll grab some more clay while we're out tomorrow. Oh, actually, I've got some more clay right here. That's perfect. Maybe try to at least get 4 more. That way, the ones that we pull out tomorrow, which it'll be towards the end of the day. So we'll spend like the first half of the day maybe getting some food and stuff together. But then we can, towards the end of the day, we should be able to pull out our stuff because it should be done by then. There we go. And there is our axe mold. And then since we got more clay now, let's go ahead and do an anvil because we will need this. This is kind of your big clay sink because it takes a bit to be sure. And I may not have enough clay actually at the moment, but it takes a lot of clay for the anvil, but that's fine if not. Yeah, we're going to be a little bit short right now. That's fine. We can finish that up tomorrow because like I said, it's going to be a little bit before our stuff finishes up. I mean, I could dig out more pit kilns, but I think we'll just wait till ours are done. Because there's other things that we're going to have to do, like going out and kind of finding some metals and stuff. And I need to get food today as well, so. Now, the anvil mold you may end up making more of later, but not for a while. There's not a whole lot of need for a bunch of these, especially early on, because they take so much clay. Now, the other molds, like a pickaxe mold, I'd love to have like 6 of those right now. Same with the axe, same with the sword, because tools, they don't last a whole lot of time on here. So making a bunch of spare molds so you can have multiple ones kind of cooling down at the same time is definitely worth it. But the anvil, not so much. You're not going to be just pumping out anvils like crazy fast. Let's take a look here. It looks like this is done. This is finishing up, of course. So let's go ahead. Let's open this up. And there we go. You can see we got 5, 7 layers of charcoal. So let's go ahead, pop down. And we're going to go ahead and start breaking this open and getting our charcoal out. And looks like we're going to come out with a decent amount, like 36. Not too bad. Alright, now I need to find some food. I'm going to also probably gather up some sticks while I'm out. And then we'll come back towards the end of the day and see if our pit kilns are done then. And while we're out, we're going to be keeping an eye out also for copper nuggets. You know, we found some in the past up kind of close to actually where we spawn in at. There was a bunch, but that's a little bit of a jaunt. So I'd like to find some around here, some nearby. I know we've got some copper in our house. So up above there, there might be some copper nuggets, but I'm going to try to find some that we haven't already located and don't already know that it's there. Ideally, so. And we'll also use this time to grab a bunch of berry bushes. So, I'd love to find some more, like, turnip plots, though. That would be great, because turnips can get us through a couple days. You know, if we get another, like, say, 50. Oh, that's a sheep. Looked like a wolf for a second. I was like, uh-oh. Now, there is a dead rooster here. Chances are, since it's partially eaten, a wolf probably killed it. And probably, yeah, it ate pretty much everything off of it. So, not super useful to us, but we did get some feathers out of it. So, at least there's that. Aha, we got copper here. Perfect. Let's go ahead. With copper and stuff like that, what I like to do is just build a big pillar. And that way we know that copper or, you know, whatever resource was here. And for right now, I'm going to leave these blueberry bushes behind. And I'm going to take these bits of copper. Now, unfortunately, food, I didn't come out great on that. I'm going to go ahead and do a hammer mold. I should be able to get by tonight on just bushmeat, but I've got to... I can't do any cooking because I didn't manage to come across any vegetables or any red meat or anything like that, so it's going to be kind of a lean night, but that's alright. I did make up a couple spears, so that maybe tomorrow we can, if nothing else, we can hunt a little bit. That's one thing, I have not had a lot of luck on here in this world getting a lot of vegetables. As far as seeds go, I'm still sitting on just a few turnip and spelt seeds. I know where some flax and some carrots are, but I'm waiting for that to get fully grown. Just not having a ton of luck in that regard, but I'm hoping that our luck will change here fairly soon. Okay, so we did get an axe already, so I'm not going to get that right now. I think I am going to go ahead and get a shovel. Prospecting pick I can wait on, because I actually think, at least for a little bit, what we're going to be looking for, we already know where it's at. But I'm kind of thinking we may have to take a trip out in search of seeds, because that's just something I don't have much of. And I want to expand our farms, but I'm going to need more seeds to do that, so... let's see. Let's go ahead and get a storage vessel also. And we may not have enough clay right now to get a 4th thing made, but that's fine. And we'll just duplicate. I'm not going to have enough to finish out the storage vessel. Almost. I think that was the last layer, but not quite enough, unfortunately. Oh, I forgot to hit record. I'm actually coming back. I guess I was excited to get out here and start heading out. I did get some raw red meat though. Of course, just using our spears to kind of kite the sheep into the water. Then it's really, really easy to take them out. And I did manage to find exactly 15 nuggets. I've been marking the places where I found them so that we can easily come back to it later. So beyond that, just picking berries and stuff. But I meant to hit record, but I forgot to. But basically just business as usual. And I didn't find any vegetables, but I did find some grain, which will do us just as well, to be honest. I don't really have space for that. I've got plenty of berries, though, to... should be able to keep us fed for the next few days. Or at least a day, you know, worth of berries here. So... this was our old campsite. Our old home. Our overnight home, I should say. I would like to get this stuff switched over, but let me go... yeah, I should have time. Let me run over and... ooh, our turnips are almost up, too. Let me run over and dump off, like, these hides and stuff. Because I really don't want to leave them. You know, it's one of those things, it's like, they're going to be so useful to us, like, pretty soon. That I'd rather just stockpile them. Even though we're not doing anything with them just yet. Same with, like, bones and stuff. Inventory is, like, a bit of a concern for a while. There we go. And if you do have a torch, you can ignite those with a torch. I just don't have a torch available at the moment, so... there we go. That one took forever. I'm going to leave this here for now because I don't have a need for it tonight, and I don't have space for it at the moment. And I'm going to go ahead and run out. Actually, I'm just going to run out this knife, and then we should be good. And I'll pack it back with us, I suppose. Might try to do a little bit of clay work tonight as well. Because, like I said, you're never really going to have too many molds. And I've got a little bit of clay back at home, but I need to get more reeds, but I didn't quite pull that off. Today. There's just too much in a given day to try to do. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at meal making real quick. See, meat stew is first two slots are raw red meat or poultry. The optionals are vegetables, eggs, soybeans, fruit or honey. Vegetable stew is vegetables, and then vegetables are soybeans. Mushrooms are considered vegetables, yeah. But I don't have any mushrooms on me. And I picked those ones to eat. Maybe we can grab some mushrooms before it gets dark. Because these on the beach, originally I was saving them for us to cook with, but then I had to eat them. Because I was starving. Oh, we do have carrots, though. Yeah, let's take these carrots. In fact. I'm going to make another fire starter, so I'm just going to toss that down. Carrots will be fine. We'll use that with the meat stew, and then that should put us in a pretty good spot for now. And we've actually got some fully grown carrots. And we're going to be making ourselves 2 fire pits for right now. There we go. In this one, we're going to grab one of our cooking pots. And we're going to set that into there. Let's go ahead and grab a little bit more firewood for right now. And what we're going to be cooking, the first 2 slots are going to be red meat. And we'll create 3 servings of red meat stew with boiled carrots. Let's go with that. So we're going to be making 3 servings of stew in that pot. This one, let's go ahead and ignite it, and then we're going to switch out the firewood with charcoal, because we're going to be smelting up some copper inside of this one. There we go. Let me see. Let's grab that. Let's grab that. Let's also get one of our crucibles. We're going to set our crucible into there. And we're going to take our copper and we're going to split it equally across this. And then let's go ahead and grab ourselves like maybe 3 pieces of charcoal. I don't know that we're going to need more than that. And we're going to give that just a little bit to cook. Depending on how many servings of, like, say, meat that you put in here, it's going to take longer for it to cook. But, of course, you're going to be making more servings. We're going to be doing 3 servings in this. And the charcoal here, since we need 1084 degrees Celsius, that's why we made the charcoal. Because charcoal is going to heat up to 1300 degrees. So we'll actually be able to smelt the copper with that. Now this is just about done. There we go. We're going to grab our pot of cooked food. Let's just set this down, like right there. And then let's grab another pot. And let's throw this in. And let's see, for the porridge, it's grain, and then we can do fruit and stuff. Let's do this. It's going to be 6 servings of rye porridge with mashed cranberries and red currants. That should be good. And then this is done. Let's go ahead and grab that. And we're going to take and pour this, shift right click, and we're going to pour it into our pickaxe mold. So there we go. And that's going to take a little bit to cool. And then while that's cooling, let's go ahead and grab another cooking pot. Might as well do a bunch of cooking. We'll throw that in. And we're going to be going once again with our... let's go 6 of those. 6 spelt. And then let's go 6 on that. And 6 on the cranberries. So we'll do spelt rye porridge with mashed red currants and cranberries. That should be good for us. And then we've probably got enough to do one more batch, so we might as well. This one's just about done. There we go. We'll grab that out. And then let's grab our last cooking pot. We're going to have plenty of food for the next few days. This time, however, it's just going to be mashed cranberries. So there we go. Okay, so now what we can do is we can take our bowls. There they are. And what we can do is, this has 6 servings of rye porridge. This has 3 servings of red meat stew. Let's go ahead, right-click that, and we're going to get a bowl with a meal in it. And if we eat that, boom, it's like our entire hunger bar. It's just completely filled up. Let's grab another bowl. Grab another serving of that. Now, of course, these aren't going to stack, but it's a lot more food. And we can kind of keep these near our base like this. And just kind of restock up on food as needed. Let me go ahead and grab that. Move it back over to our pottery collection here. Alright. And then we should be... good. This is good for 20 days. This is good for like 90 days. We'll probably have to eat the cranberries up, but... though really... the stew is going to stay good for a pretty good amount of time. Let's go ahead and make up another, say, 4 batches. And we'll get that going. Let me grab a little bit more wood, though. And this is done. Let's go ahead and grab that. And let me try to put all these into one block space here. And we've got a bunch of meat. This will be good for not all that long, really. I should probably cook that up. Just so it'll stay fresh for a bit, because otherwise it's actually not going to stay fresh that long. Now this is still cooling. It's going to take a little bit because we need it, because right now it's still like 430 degrees Celsius. So we're going to be waiting on that to cool off before we can pull it out of the mold. And now this is done. We'll grab our last pot of food. Alright, now we've got hardened copper. So we can just right click that and pull out our 267 degrees Celsius copper pickaxe head. But as soon as it says that it's hardened, you can pull that out. And then we can get our copper pick. Woo! We got our very first pick. And at this point, we can actually snag this. Let me make sure, though, because I know there's a cave up above me. Make sure I've got some soil, just in case I need to replace that real quick. There we go. We got ourselves... this has 15 units of copper in it, and we can crush it with a hammer to extract the nuggets. So there's probably more copper up in that hill, but I think what we're probably going to have to do is come up right there to get to it. I think that's going to be our best bet. And this area does tend to have some mobs in it. Now there's quartz. Let me grab a torch real quick, just so we can kind of peek our head in there and see what's going on. I know this is where all of our drifters come from, though, so we got to be a little bit mindful of that as we step foot in our very first cave. Well, aside from the one that we live in. But yeah, it looks like it's I see some copper back in there. Right there. Actually, yeah, there's quite a bit of copper here. So yeah, we should be pretty good on copper for a bit. Because this deposit is actually pretty decent sized. And it's probably going to go downwards as well. And usually once you find a deposit, like for example this copper deposit, it's going to keep you pretty good on the material for at least a bit. That's not to say that we're good forever, because copper is one of those things, because once we start making bronze and stuff with it, we'll be using quite a bit of copper. But I was trying not to do that, but that's alright. Now at this point I've just got to get enough nuggets to make a hammer, and then we'll be all set. Now we can mine the copper, but we just need the nuggets to be able to break it, down into, you know, break the copper down into nuggets, for example. So we're going to need about another 20 nuggets for that, but that's okay. We've got the most important part, which is our pick. And my hammer mold should be finishing up here, so. At this point, I've just got to, I need to go out and I need to gather grass, I need to gather sticks, I also need to gather more wood because I'm running low on wood. So I'm going to be spending probably a day doing that. Oh, we've actually got copper right here, aplenty, wow. Actually right over here by our base. Not going to be quite enough, but it's going to put us very, very close. We just need 6 more, which could be like 1 more deposit. I've got to get some cattails today, too, while I'm out. Now we got copper here. Perfect. Okay, we'll just take that, and then we should be all set on our copper nuggets. Make our copper hammer, and then should be some pretty smooth sailing from there. Got a lot of quartz around this area, I've noticed. Quartz isn't the most important ore to find, but it's not bad. We'll use it for building, especially. And we're finally reaching that point where, like, actual building is fast approaching. I would still like to get a saw, because when it comes to doing pretty much anything with wood, you're going to want a saw for that. But at least now we can mine stone, and we've got enough copper. Once we get our hammer, it's just important that we make sure and don't run out all of our hammer or all of our pick. You know, just kind of use it smartly, and then we'll be good. Oh, so many flowering berries. When all these come in, we'll ripen in 2 days. We're going to have so many berries. Oh, it's going to be insane. Yep, and then these will be ripe here pretty soon as well. Light temporal storm is approaching. Alright. Just means we're going to have some mobs spawning. It's not something that we're really going to worry about right this second. Or try to do much with either. Let me grab that. And we're going to get this fired up. And of course I'm going to need some coal in this also. Maybe be able to pull it off with 2 pieces. We're going to try and see what happens. I'm ready to get a saw so I can make some wooden platforms, because I'm tired of swimming across this. Not to mention it puts out my torches, which is never great. Yeah, you guys just hang out over there. Alright, so it is going. So hopefully this will finish up before we have to add more coal to that. There we go, we got our crucible. And we're going to go ahead over to the hammer mold and just pour that in. There we go. And that's going to take a little bit to cool, so I'm not going to be able to break down our copper right this second. But that's fine. Let me get this going a little bit here. And let me go ahead and make some torches. I love this. Because having this, it just makes me feel so much more comfortable. You know, we've got a bunch of food built up. We don't have... I still got to get cattails. I'm still in dire need of cattails. But also worth noting, when it comes to making, like if you want, say, cobblestone in Vintage Story, you have to use clay. Just put it in the middle, and that's going to get you the cobblestone. I'm going to leave this as andesite for now. But we will be making some cobblestone for some building here fairly soon. But I guess while that's cooling, because I can't really do anything with that right this second, I am going to go ahead. I mean, we've got time. We could go gather some reeds, but I think what I want to do, because I know we're going to need a bunch of copper, especially if I want to make a bunch of tools, which I do. But I'm going to head into the cave here. And just so our torches don't get wet, I'm just going to put them down, like, right in here. For right now, and we'll pick them up before we go. But let's go ahead and just start gathering up all this nice copper here. Oh, and also, that reminds me, we should talk about, now that we've got a pick, if you want to get smooth stone within Vintage Story, break all the rocks around. For example, if I wanted to get this as smooth stone, what I would do is just break all the blocks around this, and it would cause it to break off, and that's how we get our smooth stone within Vintage Story. So there's a drifter. I think that's actually all the copper. Now, like I said, there's probably still more copper in this, maybe further down or something, but this should be sufficient for us for right now, I think. Hopefully. Oh, we found a broken static translocator. We are going to need gears to repair it. Slightly collapsed chest. We've actually got some rusty gears. These aren't the kind of gears that we're going to need to repair that, though. Can I, by chance, take this chest, though? Nope. Light temporal storm is imminent. Place and break to upgrade to the newer crate version. Okay, let's grab these. We've got a heavily collapsed chest. Tiny pile of junk metal. Let's take that. And we do have an andesite. A bit of andesite rock there, so we're going to move that. Okay, and we'll come back to the static translocator once we get the gears that we need for that. Alright. You're gonna die, sir. There we go. I don't have a knife on me. That's fine. The chance of us actually getting cloth off them, you can get cloth off of drifters. I've actually managed to get like one piece, but it's not a super high probability of that happening, though. We do have a temporal storm coming in, so we're probably going to stay bunkered down during that. It's basically just going to be a lot of drifters and stuff spawning. You can see due to the temporal storm, the drifters are now corrupt drifters, but I think if we stay bunkered down, we should be alright, so let that do its thing. This, of course, is what we're going to need to trade with traders, so let's go ahead and put down our crate. What do we want to store in that? Something that we're going to have a lot of I don't know if we really have anything, like a lot of something right now. We'll do the andesite stone, because we're probably going to end up having a lot of that. So just shift, and we'll shift and control to dump it all in there. And this basically gives us a place that we can store like a lot of one item. And this is done. We're going to go ahead and pull this out. We're going to take it. I've got to go get cattails. Got to get cattails soon. And at this point, we can also take our hammer, and we just put our copper just kind of underneath that. And we can smash that into nuggets. Now, in order for us to get an anvil, we're going to need 900 units of metal, which is actually quite a lot. We're actually going to be 4 nuggets short, unfortunately. So next episode, we will probably have to do some mining. I've got to get some cattails, just so that I can make some storage, because like right now, you know, we don't have any storage to speak of, but then we'll have to do just a little bit more mining, get a little bit more copper. At the moment, 2 more ores would give us enough to actually be able to make the anvil, which is what's going to allow us then to kind of move into smithing. Though I have a feeling there's probably more copper in them hills there, and so I think that's probably the route that we're going to take. But we'll see. We should be able to just dig our way up through here to come into the cave, but I don't want to leave it open. Since it's not terribly safe to do that. But honestly, if we just did this, that would probably be fine. Because then we can easily just kind of step into here. Like so. But I'll probably have to dig around in here, see if we can find some more copper. I know there's going to be more in here, we just have to find it. But come next episode, that's probably going to be what we do, and then move on to getting ourselves a saw blade. And then at that point, we are going to take a bit of time away from kind of the progression-y aspect, start working on some base building. I want to be able to cut wood. I want to be able to cut wood before we start into that, because that way we can make platforms and things, and stuff that's going to be vital to actually building us a base as we move forward. So, because we pretty much gotta have that. Yeah, we've got enough copper. Yeah, so we'll probably just make our anvil, our first anvil, out of just copper. We're gonna be upgrading it down the road anyways. So feels good to finally have our pick, though. Didn't take us that long, really, but it is quite nice. But anyways, I know it's wrapping up point for this episode, so we're going to end this one out here, and then next episode, we're going to start moving into some smithing, make ourselves a saw, start cutting wood, then we can start building. We can start building out and kind of moving away from living in a cave, is my plan. So, because now we've got access to stone, and we're going to have access to wood products, which will be great. And then before too long, we're going to start doing some really serious farming, getting some proper farms in place. So that'll be good. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you did, as always, be sure and hit that like button and go ahead and subscribe if you're not already to stay updated with when new videos come out. And I hope to see you guys next time. So until then, as always, do take care, stay safe. I'll see you guys then.